everybody, I'm Beebs Kelley. Welcome back to another video. Everyone was so relieved to hear the good news from Catherine, the Princess of Wales, that she has completed her course of cancer treatment after this really challenging few months that she and her family has had. It is welcome news. Everybody is so happy for them. And her video really was perfect in every way when you look at the big picture of the situation. I'm not just saying that. Looking at it objectively, it really was perfect and strategic. And there are some reasons why the Wales family clearly chose to release a video like this and to use this format and to have the sort of tone that they had in the video rather than just releasing a statement or doing something more similar to the video she put out when she announced that she was undergoing treatment. And we're going to get into all of that. There's been a lot of criticism about it, and so I want to address some of that from a PR perspective as to the reasons why this was a better choice over something more formal. But before we get into all of that, please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. Thank you so very much. It helps me out a lot. And comment for the algorithm. If you don't know what to comment, just leave a yellow heart. So this video really did show us the real Catherine as she is, as a mother, as a wife, as a person, just without the job title, without the royal title. You left that short video with a true glimpse into what fills her life and her world. And despite the criticism, there's no question that everyone, even the critics, did breathe a sigh of relief that she is doing better, that she has completed her treatment. It was good news, whether you liked the video or not, whether you liked the format or not. The video itself was very charming. It was beautifully done. A lot of people thought that it was quite the departure, that this was just kind of never ever done before. But really, it has been done before. The Queen did release the occasional sort of family home video style video to people, something that was feeling a little bit more personal, a little bit more intimate, and that was good. That was strategic. It is important for people to look at public figures and to the royal family in this situation as real people and not forget that there is humanity behind the royal title and the job and the press headlines, because it can be easy to dehumanize someone you only read about in news or only see about in headlines. And so not just at times where compassion is needed, like when somebody needs to take time away for their health, but at other times too. And we see the family do this all times, just not necessarily always in video format. They release pictures regularly throughout the year that are obviously private pictures, like from their homes, or portraits done or pictures taken at their homes by their family members. Usually it's Catherine, the Princess of Wales, who takes the pictures, but family photos have made up holiday announcements and birthday announcements, even anniversary announcements for over a decade with the royal family at least. But like I said, the Queen had previously released video footage on occasion of her with her family. Perhaps it wasn't always geared just towards humanizing her and the monarchy in the situation. Perhaps sometimes it was just a nice thing to do and how people communicate. But as time went on and we have seen the Wales family with their children being raised in this modern age, we have seen the occasional home video sort of vibe. Several years ago, there was another video release that was definitely had the home video vibes, and it was received pretty well. And so this isn't entirely new. This particular video did have a heavier focus, obviously, on Catherine herself. She narrated it, which was a little bit different than previous home video releases, so to speak. And it was a little bit longer. It had a little bit more of a casual vibe, a little bit more intimate, for sure. As for what she said in the video, it was clear that her words were so carefully chosen, and really they couldn't have been better, because they let her values, her heart, and her personality shine through. We continue to wish her good health and continued recovery time as she enjoys her loving family. Her grace and strength are truly admirable, and for many people going through similar struggles, were a welcome comfort. These pictures in particular of her walking through the woods with the light in front of her, as you can see, are really symbolic. This is one of my favorite from the video because I think it's really impactful and because of all the symbolism in it. As you can see, she's walking towards the light and stepping into the sunshine here. And behind her is that sort of darker time over the last few months. It was a beautifully done photo here. I really, really like this particular picture, despite the other ones being even cuter and more full of love. This one was just so poignant for the moment. It was a really great choice. She did graduate with an art history degree, and it's obvious with projects like these. She not only has a great appreciation with art and photography, but she obviously has good talent with it as well. She may have had some help putting this together, but by all accounts, this was very much her project and something that she did. She directed it, she came up with the idea, she wrote and voiced over what she wanted to say. And really, she was able to show much more than she said with her words by doing a video like this. It was rich with lots of symbolism, details, and love, of course. One of the reasons why they chose to do a video like this, or why Catherine chose to do a video like this, rather than a statement or something a little bit more formal, like when she announced her cancer diagnosis, was so that she could say more with the imagery and with the video footage. Over this year, there have been horrible rumors. For example, there have been a lot of conspiracy. There have been a lot of questioning and wondering from some fringe areas of the internet and the public. The Where's Kate hashtag. There was even celebrities speculating about what's going on with Catherine. The reason for that, as we discussed previously, was because she has been so present in the public eye, and nothing like this had happened before, at least not with Catherine. That wasn't related to her pregnancies, for example. So there was a degree to wondering where she was that was understandable, and there was a part of it that was just people being concerned, like wanting to make sure she was okay and wondering what was going on. But that gap of information did leave open the door for speculation. So the palace, the Wales family, Catherine, clearly learned from this. By releasing a video that showed a lot more, she was able to quiet and close down a lot of that speculation. Here in this video, we were able to see clearly where she has been and what she has been doing. We were able to see the closest relationships to her thriving and healthy and happy, and to see that the dynamic there is unchanged and steady. Everything is fine. So she was able to shut down that speculation and put a stop to any lingering rumors that may have tried to continue to circulate as she steps back into the public eye, slowly but surely at her own pace. She was able to prevent further speculation from continuing on and from taking up any room when she comes back for her future appearances, because now people have seen where she's been. People have seen a glimpse into what's been going on over the last few months. At least they feel like they have through this video. It also represented a sort of full circle moment. She went from having to deliver just a statement that she had to have this surgery to a video message explaining that she is going to be taking time away and trying to calm some of the rumors and speculation down by doing the video message herself, but also to communicate to people. Catherine understands just how well liked she is by the public. She understands how important she is to the public, and she understands that through compassion, other people can feel comfort from her sharing what she's going through at the same time. So there was lots of reasons why she chose to do the video message. I don't think that back when she did that this spring that she felt pressured necessarily to do a video message per se. I think that the statement, the just plain worded statement that came out that she had had surgery, was obviously inadequate because people still wanted to know more. They wanted to know where she was. They wanted to know that she was okay. They wanted to see her. And it led to all that wild and crazy speculation that was going on leading up to her video message, and it continued after. But she also had really serious news to deliver, and she probably did feel like people who cared about her and who liked her, looked up to her, who depended on her, her patronages, the events that she had planned to attend, and the work she planned to do, deserved a direct message from her. And so she probably felt at least a little bit of an obligation to speak directly to the people who cared in terms of letting them know that she was going to be taking time off. But at the same time, I think that it really was something that she just felt was the right way to go about it, and I agree. Now that she was able to share the news that she has completed her treatment and is going to kind of move into this new chapter of continuing to heal and focus on her health, but able to start taking those steps forward again, because for a while everything was a little bit on pause while she dealt with this really big challenge, which is totally understandable and normal. But now she had a more positive message to deliver that had more energy to it, that she was happy about this, that her whole family is happy about this. And by doing a video message again, but yet one that was full of so much more energy and life of them playing and being happy and going out and about in different settings and things like that, it not only filled in the gaps of where she's been, what she's been doing to quiet that speculation down, but it also came full circle from that first video message. It had a completely different tone, a completely different physical energy to it, and it represented the news that she was giving. So it was very much in alignment with this more happy news that is more positive and looking to the future and doing more things. While it still had a serious tone, it was definitely coming out on the other side of it in every way. So all of it really lined up well. It was really well constructed. All of it aligned really nicely, and I think that it was a good choice. In terms of the symbolism that she communicated just visually, obviously family importance. This quality time and love between her and each person in her family, as well as the support from her parents, was acknowledged. This was her showing gratitude for the rock that her family has been for her, and showing to others just how important this has been for her. So for other people going through the same thing, and just for representing good, healthy practices in terms of your mental and emotional well-being, she was able to communicate a lot of that. She also used visual symbolism to show how she has been grounding herself and looking after her mental and spiritual health during this challenging time by spending a lot of time in nature, not only with her family, but also on her own, taking these walks, moving forward, walking through the woods, understanding that it's a long journey that she's still on. She's still partway through this path, through this trail, but that it is indeed coming into a chapter of healing and light. All of these images throughout this video were representative of the big picture here. She also demonstrated vulnerability through some of these images, and her words further back up this idea and theme of that vulnerability. When you go through a startling health situation, it does make you feel incredibly vulnerable, and you do need to depend on and rely on your family or your support networks a lot more. And she was able to demonstrate a lot of that through these images. She also demonstrated how kind she is, how sweet she is at heart through her words especially, but also I think through her actions in the video. You see just how kind she is and how close she is with her family. And as a mother, how comfortable her children are just being close with her and being with her and whatnot. So that sort of kindness and personality shines through here of getting to see a bit of the vibe that she has as a mom. Of course, there are some people, some weirdos, who had to criticize this video. They said that it was too artsy, too personal, too casual, that it was too much of a departure for the royals, too far from the norm, but I totally disagree. As I've said, the royal family have put out home video sort of vibes before, and Catherine and William specifically are part of a younger generation, and they are hugely popular for a reason. Because they do have a more modern approach and are not afraid to communicate the way normal people of the younger generations communicate. And when I say modern approach, I don't mean radical change or doing things completely different. It means, in this context, communicating in the same ways that culturally we do now. People do make these sorts of videos to announce things or to share their happy memories throughout the year. People do communicate via pictures and Instagram and social media. That just is how we do it. Things are a little bit more artistic in terms of how we share information rather than just plain written announcements. Newspaper articles being the main mediums back in the day, now video and photo is a much more common medium in terms of of sharing news and communicating about our personal lives. So it only makes sense. And it's very good to do so because it allows people to connect with them more. It allows the opportunity to reach beyond their titles and their work and show more of their personality and character and values in a way that's meaningful and ultimately beneficial to the monarchy as a whole. And an image is worth 1,000 words. It really is. Images stick out in people's minds. They evoke emotion. They remind people of things. So there's a much more dynamic impact that can be achieved through video or photo messages rather than just written print. And I am sure that a huge driving force behind doing a video rather than an announcement was indeed to offer answers to the questions that have been feverishly circulating online for months. Another angle to this that a lot of commentators and critics of the video have ignored is her own mental health. As we've said, for anybody going through a sudden health issue, it leaves you feeling vulnerable and it has a huge impact on your mental health. But doing so and going through something like that in the public eye would only magnify how intense that felt, the vulnerability that she felt, feeling like she's letting people down as a public figure, knowing that everybody knows and everybody's speculating and everybody's talking about it and it's worldwide news, is going to feel even more vulnerable, just hugely intense in terms of the scope of sharing that news. For a lot of people, you wouldn't even share certain health issues or certain health news with your immediate community at large, like your school, your children's school, your whole neighborhood. Not everybody's going to know, not everybody needs to know. You would tell maybe just your close friends, people who are close to you and your children or you and your family and your extended family, but you might not tell everybody. Some people don't even tell their extended family. They really keep it tight to just those who are really, really close with them. She didn't have that option, really, because she did need to take so much time off. And for her and for King Charles, they also decided to use it as a moment to share their experience, to offer comfort and sympathy, draw attention to a health issue, and shine a light on a cause, things like that. All very, very noble, but things they didn't have to do. But in terms of announcing where they're going to be and that they need to take time off, unfortunately for public figures, they don't really have flexibility there. And so this might have been even more taxing to her mental emotional health to have that element to it and that dynamic to it. As she said herself, her priority was her kids and making sure they understood she would be okay and had time to digest the news before everybody else knew about it. But ultimately, she still understood that everybody needs to know, at least to some extent, why she's going to be out of the spotlight for a while and out of work for a while. Just because she announced it and went through that process of sharing the information with grace and dignity and did so in such a professional manner and was so strong about it, does not mean it was not hugely challenging for her. It does not mean it was incredibly difficult to not cry while telling people what you're going through. It does not make it any easier just because she was able to put together these wonderfully polished videos about such a serious and scary time. Don't underestimate how challenging that was. So in terms of her mental health and emotional well-being, choosing to share the happy news in a happy video with a happy, inspiring tone with her family by her side is respect she deserves to have. That is how she chose to share the news because that is what felt good to her. And they've all gotten through this challenge together. Her choosing to share it in that way was part of the process of sort of tying up the duty of sharing with the public what's been going on, to punctuate it in a way that she was happy about and that felt good to her. Having to take on sharing the news with the public in the first place and be out of the public eye and have all that speculation, challenging enough. She deserves to decide how she wants to finish that chapter and end the sentence how she wants to, that she's done with the treatment, she's back, and if she wants to do it in this way with her family and sort of show gratitude that they were there to support her, people should not be criticizing that at all, because it probably was quite cathartic for her to be able to make a happy video like this that was a little bit more organic and true to how she lives her life. It was probably really helpful, actually. It probably felt like a really nice way to close that chapter and to close the narrative of now going forward when she's back out in the public view. There doesn't need to be questions and speculation and wondering about things, that this can kind of be put to bed now, and we don't need to continue to talk about it because she has chosen to end the conversation here on this positive note. Having to come back for, say, Remembrance Day or other events, or if she chooses to hold in-person engagements in the coming months, being able to sort of have the last word on this journey that she's been on her terms, in a nice, beautiful video that was an artistic outlet for her that was really positive and nice and happy, allows her to feel comfortable stepping back into the public view, knowing that she has said all she wants to say about it. I mean, think about it from the other side. Critics, okay? Think about it. If they had just put out a statement when she went to go ease back into work, if all that we had heard was a statement, a written statement from the palace that she completed treatment, there would have been so many questions. People would have been looking at her differently. Would have left so much room for that speculation to continue. She would have felt more vulnerable and much less comfortable getting back to work, so to speak, or stepping back out into the public eye again. So this allowed her to have a degree of comfort, which is important for her mental and emotional well-being. Ultimately, this video illustrated a much bigger picture which benefited her return as well. It filled in some of the gaps from this time that she was on medical leave. At this point, the public has seen her. They've seen her family and a sliver of what they've been up to while she's been away. As she shares the tremendous impact that this time has had on her and her family, a picture really is worth 1,000 words, and this has been no exception. I don't think that she felt compelled, but rather felt more comfortable in this approach, allowing her to show so much more than she needed to say and to take some of the pressure off of her next appearance as well. As you know, I've been honest about my opinion of Catherine before, that she is one of the very few actually good role models for girls and for women today, and in fact Prince William is for boys as well, and them as a couple set a really great example as well for relationship, as parents, and as a family as a whole. That doesn't mean that I'm not objective. This video really was well done. It was sweet, it was heartfelt, genuine, and vulnerable. And the message that she wrote to voice over it was a really nice way to do it, because it allowed her to say what she wanted without the pressure of having to memorize it, and keep the focus on the joy and the love and the beauty that filled the video. She embodies the spirit of motherhood so purely. She was truly seen as she is in real life, off-duty moments. These were scenes of good days, of course, but they were also in alignment with her values and how she chooses to live her life and move through the world. What her real day-to-day is all about, her family. And I think that message was so valuable and pertinent. Catherine and her family have been through something really scary. And on top of it, as a mother, a supportive wife, she had an immense weight on her. The only thing scarier than that diagnosis was the thought of how it was going to impact her children and her family. And so now that she has completed her treatment and begun this new chapter, a large focus on the video being on her family life and motherhood, on her and William. She's demonstrating her priorities here. This is what she fought for. These are the people who gave her strength, who helped her through it, who supported her with love and spirit. These are the people who inspired her to be strong and stay calm in the face of something terrifying. This is where her joy is, where her happiness is, and what is most important to her, which I think most mothers identify with. The gratitude she clearly feels for having gotten through this particular challenge, for being able to shift her focus, for the reassurance that she can give her children now is so clear and so very beautiful in every way.